Okay, hello everybody. Hello Taihan and hi Tui Nguyen. Nice to see you.
Very nice to see you then.
I see the UFM. What is UFM? University
Finance and Marketing.
UFM.
University of Finance and Marketing.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
UFM
yeah,
because I thought it might be University of Florida, Miami.
yeah.
It's not it. Okay, how are you today, Tai?
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
But
well,
I
it's
had a day long.
a very long day.
Yeah.
Why was it so long?
I have to enter the class at 7 and in order to entering the class at
Yeah.
7 and I have to wake up early, very early in the morning at 5
Oh,
a.m. Yeah.
well, thank you for joining us. It's good.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. It's really good. See, we have Tui Nguyen. I'm trying to say the names. I have my language coach here, Mr. Bui Kwakui. How are you, Mr. Hui?
Ohio.
Ohio. You have to say konbanwa. Konbanwa is good evening.
Okay, don't know that. Maybe you can teach us some Japanese as well.
Gonna put
Yeah.
it in chat for you, my friend. Here we go. In chat. Konbanwa is konbanwa, which is kind of funny. It's like saying this evening, how is it in English?
You
So
have you have any plan to go to visit Vietnam soon?
yeah, I want to. I really want to because I've met so many students and I really find the Vietnamese character very agreeable. The students are eager to learn. They're funny, genuinely funny
You
students.
mean you mean obedient, right?
They can be a little bit mischievous, but I don't mind because their sense of humor is very sophisticated for such young people. I have to appreciate that these, they actually have fairly advanced senses of humor. If they're throwing insults at each other, it's kind of immature. But if they're engaged in some group discussion that has a comedy to it, they're actually quite clever. I enjoy it. I discussed this with my friend Ian in Los Angeles. He's a college counselor for a technical college in Los Angeles, and he has many Vietnamese students. He has meetings with them to suggest what classes to take. And he said, yeah, the Vietnamese in California who are there from Vietnam, he said they also have wonderful senses of humor. And Ian and I have worked with Taiwanese students, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and we both agree, after many years that of all the Asian groups, the Vietnamese sense of comedy is probably the best amongst all the Asian people we've worked with. So I mean to flatter you a little bit, Mr. Hui.
Thank you for that. But I think that is our habit to be try to be positive in difficult circumstances. Sometimes we cannot change it, so we have to laugh at ourselves in order
Yeah,
to have a different perspective.
yeah. The black people in America and the Jewish people in America are famous comedians, and many of them had said our cultural experience has been very difficult, so we have to learn to laugh, is what the Jewish people say, and the black people say. And they really are some of America's, they dominate comedy, many of them do. It's kind of cool. Okay, so let's see, we have Hannah's here, Tui Nguyen, Tai Han, Hui. So I have big news. Are you ready for my big news, Mr. Hui and
You
everybody?
getting married next week.
I what?
You're getting married next week.
My wife's next door doing a music lesson, I believe. Here, let
Really?
me put this up on the share screen. This is somewhat interesting. So I was on Facebook, and my hometown uh, is Glenview, Illinois, north of Chicago. And my old high school that I graduated from is the #1 high school in America. It's kind of shocking. And New Trier is a famous high school. It's #4. New Trier always beats my school district 225. District 225 is two high schools. It's Glenbrook North and Glenbrook South. So it's the best school district in America for District 225. Here, I'll highlight it there. Glenbrook. So it's two high schools, Glenbrook North, Glenbrook South. I went to Glenbrook South. Um, Glenbrook North is the home of the famous director John Hughes. And John Hughes made the movie Home Alone that many of you know, Home Alone. He went to Glenbrook North, and I went to Glenbrook South. So they're kind of rival schools, the two schools. All right, so kind of happy about that. Let's see. I chose these proposals, three of them that were sent. Who are these people? Students that you know that I would use the expression affiliated with you. By affiliation, I mean it's the NCV group. They put some really funny stuff up here. Let me put the screen share on because I worked on these this week, and I think it's a good, in English, we say jumping off point to start. We have three examples, and they seem to be happy with their work. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen and have it as a better share option than what is previously going on now. The problem is it puts it up in multiple copies, and so I will have to do this a little bit differently. There's the one, and it's about flood stuff in Vietnam. Good, my corrections are on it. The working title, Making Flood Risk Visible, Public Water Gauges for Can Tho. I was curious, is Can Tho a province or a city? Can Tho.
It's okay. It's Cần Thơ, but
To, to,
it's I think it's a province and the city at the same time. Sometimes we have that common things.
okay, Can Tho. It's like when you eat it's not pho, it's pho, when you eat the soup. So I have to remember that TH Osan is Can Tho. Very cool name. So I don't know whose paper this is. Is our student here today in the session? Taihan or Tu Nguyen or Hana? I'm not sure whose paper this is. Whose paper is this? I corrected it. I enjoyed reading all three of these, by the way. Hello, Hannah. How are you tonight? She's a wave. Wave is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I have somebody's paper here, and they're asking the research question called, do real-time water gauges in central Can Tho improve understanding of tidal flooding and force individuals in the region to consider serious options? I added this because I just felt it was necessary to add that. So before it was Can Tho improve understanding of tidal flooding and when to leave. I just thought it needed something more, and I added it. So the students didn't seem to mind. They liked that change. And force individuals in the region to consider serious options, when to leave, which route to take, whether to reschedule activities. For some of these, I could insert "and" here, but since these are proposals, they're a little less formal for that Chicago style "and" right there. And I'll highlight it so the student could see that I put that here in class. It's a sequence of factors where you always do the last one with the comma and the "and" for the Chicago style manual. So we could make it a little formal tonight. The key papers, I had no real problem with these. Throughout this paper, though, I think I might add a hyphen there. I added a lot of hyphens to these phrasings. Just as a rule, advice to you, it's always safe to add hyphens. If you think, should this be a compound word like airplane? And that's a very easy one, but there are other compound words that are a little bit more difficult. You could always add a hyphen to the more difficult social science words. So in this impact-based, I chose to use a hyphen here. And I really don't think you would be called on that by a professional editor. They would recognize that the student elected to use the hyphen at their discretion, that they felt like it was a good thing to do. I seriously doubt an editor would call you on that. So impact-based early warning pipeline linking forecast to actionable thresholds. This is very good. I like it, but I'm don't know if a similarity sensor would pick up on the actionable thresholds, if that's a common used word. I know in the social sciences and policy it's used, but I don't know about finance and economics using actionable thresholds, possibly in accounting or finance for corruption in an audit of a country with questionable financial practices. It reaches an actionable threshold, means the International Monetary Fund has to take action, or the World Bank. Perhaps that's when it's used in business. But this is more for policy makers, I believe, this actionable thresholds. Okay, next one, test flood messaging designs. This one's so unique that I seriously doubt that would be called up on a similarity detector. It's just so specific to this paper that it's a very new, fresh term, so no problems at all with that. And again, place-based gauges. I read this through once or twice, and then I realized it's appropriate for this paper. A place-based gauge means a gauge that's placed in a significant place to monitor flooding. So the student used place-based gauges, and all I did to this was I put a hyphen here because that's definitely a hyphen word, place-based gauges. Okay. Thresholds and prompts. This is really good, by the way. I really was impressed with this. It's written really well. So I'll leave it. These are, you can get these files through our group, I believe. So you can access these. And if you need this for impact-based studies, etc., I would by all means take a look at these for your own ideas. Tidal flooding, on and on. Let's go right here. Residents, I added businesses. I believe this was left only residents, and I wanted to include businesses because in many urban contexts, businesses and residents, especially in Asia, are in a shared space, tight, close space. So in editing this, I added residents and businesses. I think it's important to include that. Neighbors, this person chose the British spelling neighbors. I'm going to ask you about this. I've been meaning to ask you about this. Hooey for neighbors, will you keep the British spelling with the O-U-R for neighbors, the diphthong O-U, neighbors, which American English uses neighbors with no O-U-R-S. Since you're in Malaysia, Hooey, that's a former British possession, colonial possession, Hui. Will you use Singapore and Malaysia use the OUR for this? What do you think, Hui or Hannah? Anyone can answer that. Hui, what do you think?
I think
Is that
lady first, so I pass the question to Hannah.
okay? Hannah, would you use the OUR for your students in Vietnam? Neighbors.
Yes, I'm not sure about this one. It's just depend on kinds of the British or American styles of English.
Uh,
Right. So
I'm just
in the computer, right? The
uh-huh.
language will be the English, American English. So they recommend that we need to change the spelling.
Mm,
It depends on maybe the setup, the language setup of the computer.
yeah.
But
I
I think
believe,
it's acceptable
yeah,
in
acceptable.
the kinds of the academic paper. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that OUR, it's acceptable. Also, I notice in Vietnam, a lot of our younger students go to British academies or private schools. So they're going to definitely learn the OUR because they have to take British tests such as the IELTS or the GCSE, the General Certificate of Secondary Education, and A levels to go to British universities. So they most definitely have to use that OURS. Do you know why the Americans don't use that OU style? Well, it's called a diphthong. It's when two vowels are together, and Americans aren't very good on diphthongs the way the Germans and the English and the French are, the British are. For example, the Germans, beer is B-I-E-R, and they say beer, and they really stretch out the I-E, beer. But the British British also will say beer like that. And if they say neighbor, they really stretch out neighbor, and you can almost hear the U in there. But the American, I think it was Hawthorne or Webster, Merriam-Webster wrote the dictionaries in Boston in 1820s or 1840s. He said, we do not use those diphthongs in America, so I'm not going to do that spelling in my dictionaries. That was fascinating. So if you go to color as well, the British say color, like that color, and they get an extra the French way, like flower is fleur in French. So Americans say color. It's real short color. So we'll use color banded here. Very interesting. Next, departure times, route choice, low cost intervention. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, this was a case where she wrote or he wrote low cost with no hyphen, and I chose to use a hyphen here for low cost intervention. I felt comfortable doing that because, again, better to use a hyphen than not to use a hyphen. All right. Next, in order to make, I added this. Sometimes I think it's important to explain something more in depth. So the full reading here is preset illustrative thresholds for local testing where the alert is greater than or equal to 50 centimeters and danger greater than or equal to 80 centimeters above the title datum in order to make color bands align. I think the person didn't have this. They just wrote to make color bands align with. It's okay, but I like to put this phrase in order to make. Makes it really more specific, really more clear. Okay, and then we can skip down to here. Record provisional road point depths and levels into on-street. Again, I chose a hyphen here, on-street impacts, because a lot of these are in between a compound word and two separate words. So I chose on-street, on-street impacts. It's the best I could do, because if we just write on-street like this, let's see, yeah, it comes up as wrong. And you could do that on-street, but I like to make it more powerful with on-street impacts. Okay, this is really fascinating. Difference in difference. This is the first time I came across this in academic writing. It's very clever. Are you familiar with it? Hui and Tai Han and Tui Nguyen and Hannah. Have you come across this is actually really funny. Han Pham, good to see you, and Mi Nguyen and Li Hien and Tebu. Tung Tran also. Thank you all for coming. This difference in difference, very stylish. Really like it. Difference in difference comparing treated neighborhoods near gauges with match controls. Has anyone seen this before in academic writing? Hannah, have you seen this before? Difference in difference. It's
Actually,
Yes.
difference in difference is a method in research.
yeah, it's quite good. I really like it. Difference in difference comparing treated neighborhoods near gauges with match controls before and after. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really going to single that out. I'm going to highlight that in blue because it's very strong. Estimation, regressions model the probability and timing of adjustments, controlling for weather, weekday, month, distance to waterways, and fixed effects. Cluster robust influence. Cluster robust, yeah. In fact, the whole phrase cluster robust inference, my only concern with that is that it might increase your similarity score because it's quite common. Cluster robust inference using the analysis. So we'll have to think about that one if you want to stay with it. If anyone could suggest something different, by all means. But it's one of those words that very accurately describes the analysis. Okay, robustness, placebo periods, alternative buffer distances, sensitivity, and so on. Transparency, a brief pre-analysis is definitely a hyphened word. Plan, mocks, outcomes, and econometric choices, extents. Let me just run this through my Apple spelling. And if I could do pre-analysis, yeah, it comes off as incorrect. So we have to use the hyphen, pre-analysis. I worked on this paper last week. That's why some of this I'm checking again just to be sure. Okay, emphasizes hard infrastructure, place-based device, behavioral with the British spelling is fine, standardizing color with the British spelling, going ahead to into decisions at the street level. Yeah, so before the person who wrote this wrote street level, on street impacts here, and then they chose to switch to at the street level. Very, very good. It used different expressions to break up the repetition of a paper. So this was used very skillfully here at the street level. Very nice. Flood prone, again, a hyphen here. Community centered, a hyphen here. A lot of hyphens in this paper for the most part. Citizen centered tool, because the research is they're using words that are not too common, like a citizen centered tool. We know that you have student centered activities in the classroom, but citizen centered is not as common as a collocation. So these are fascinating collocations the person is using. Collocations are interesting here. So I'll just put this here for a moment. Collocations, citizen-centered. Now, of course, with Google, you can run the collocation frequency use, and they'll show you that something like citizen-centered or student-centered is used 67% of the time. So that's a point I really should give to you, is that if you're concerned with a similarity score that might be a bit too hard, you can always try a collocations check on Google to say, what is the frequency of use in collocations? We should definitely give that a try tonight. So remind me to do that, to run a collocations check. Okay, and here we have co-design. Here's another British one, defense with a C. Americans would spell this with an S-E. Again, I don't know what your preference is, but there's defense with the SE. Since my Apple software is set to American, it underlined this as a mistake simply because it's the British spelling of defense. And then this word, de-identification, difficult word, so definitely a hyphen there. Let's give it a try. De-identification. And it comes up as wrong, so we have to use a hyphen there, okay? That's all I have for the first paper. Are there any questions on this? By all means, please ask a question. As I said, I enjoyed checking through these. Again, part of the pleasure of checking these papers is that the research is almost always cutting edge new research, and it allows me to look at possible effects of climate change and this sort of thing as Vietnamese researchers are doing this kind of work. It's a really good insight to me. I learn new things it's always great for me to learn new things. This is very interesting to hear about an early flood-based warning in Can Thu province or city. All right. Any questions? All right. Let me do a collocation for you, because I want you to see how Google uses its collocations. So I'll get this ready for you, and here we go. Okay, so there's the Google, and I'll write collocation percentage for impact-based study. It's a 3-word collocation. The impact of collocation percentage in impact-based study refers to accuracy of correct combinations, often found to be L2 second language learners, with examples like 62% incorrect, 38% correct. But that's not what I'm looking for. It literally translated the impact of collocation proficiency. That's not what I'm looking for. Let me see. Collocation usage for the word impact. Frequency of use. Okay, so it gives us these collocations, but these are more synonyms. I want actual percentages. Let me see if the Cambridge will allow me access. Many here. So if you want the Cambridge collocations, these are excellent as a research tool. Look at all these collocations they gave with impact. So actual impact, adverse impact, asteroid impact. I don't think that's very specific. Beneficial impact, budgetary impact, combined impact. So you can see the collocations for impact are many, but I still cannot find the actual percentages. I used to be able to do that, and I'm not turning it up. Okay. Bowie, you wrote tone, sir, tone. What is that, Mr. Hui? Hui, what is tone, sir? Mr. Hui, what is tone, sir, tone?
You never heard about this before? It's like
Yeah.
it's a French word. Like if you search this, it means color on color.
Color
So
on color?
yeah, it's the way that you rest your clothes that
Yeah.
matching together
Oh.
and improving the comprehensive of your clothes all together.
Are they using it in the social sciences? The
No,
tone, sir,
it's used more on fashion.
tone? On
And
fashion. Okay.
yeah, so it's a French word. Yeah.
Okay, because the black people in America began to say on point means you're dressed very well, on point, but it's now come over into academics where you will give a critique of a paper or your comments. You could write, oh, your comments are very on point, very on point. Means it's actually a military word. Point are the soldiers who walk ahead of the main group. It's a dangerous position, and it was first used in World War II. They say you are being put on point. So on point means you're ready to go. You're well prepared, ready for action, on point. But then the black people changed it to this, and I don't know where on fleck is the same as on point. It's a very recent cool word, but only top fashion people know on fleck, or black producers of hip hop and rap music talk about a groove being on fleck, but that's very slang, kind of non-standard. On point is much safer to use. Okay, any questions? I see Lin Yuing and Zung Pham and Tung Tan, Li Hien and Mai Yuing. Thank you all for coming. It's all a pleasure to see you. Would anyone like to say anything before we move on to another of these what are they called? Proposals. Proposals. What is the full word for these proposals? Dr. Duke told us something proposals. Crunch proposals or brief proposals?
Pitching
Pitching
research
proposals. Yeah, okay.
framework. So PRC.
Oh, okay. PRC, right?
PRC, yes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it sounds like a political activist organization in Africa. The PRC, once again, won the elections. Okay, so People's Republic of China? Okay, let's go back to PRC.
Let's avoid that topic.
Yeah, we have to think about that one, Hui. So let's see. I'm going to go back to Zalo and get number 2 now. And let me show you number 2. Thank you very much for your kind comments, by the way. I thought that was really wonderful. Let me make sure and save this. And let me go to the share. Okay, so now I believe this is an economics paper. Let's see. How does climate anxiety shape pro-environmental behavior? Oh no, it's another policy for Vietnamese policy experts. Does climate anxiety spur or stall action? A two-way Vietnam study. This is really interesting. Shall we read through it? At least the motivation here where I made the most. But would someone like to read it? Hannah, would you like to give it a try, or anybody else can read it? I always ask Hannah and Hui to read. Maybe we could find another person down below. Lincoln, you're back. Hey, Lincoln, how are you? Mr. Lincoln.
Hi, I've been busy with my family stuff recently. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
I'm back now.
Is it all good stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So Lincoln, can
So
you? Yes.
you want me to read D?
Yeah, is that okay? It's called the
Oh, I see.
motivation. It's
Okay.
long. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Vietnam ranks among the world's most climate vulnerable economies, facing riverine flooding, saline intrusion in the Mekong, and intensifying heat waves that jeopardize livelihoods and health. At the same time, Vietnam is transitioning rapidly toward renewables, tightening emission targets, and piloting carbon markets, creating policy windows for public engagement. These twin realities heighten climate anxiety, particularly among youth and urban workers. Yet we lack longitudinal evidence from Southeast Asia on how the stress translates into action or paralysis. Existing cross-sectional studies often conflate adoptive worry with debilitating impairment, obscuring non-linear linearity,
Yeah.
temporal dynamics, and the roles of efficacy, norms, and risk exposure.
Uh-huh.
A Vietnam-focused panel can review whether anxiety initially pushes behavior, but later pulls back at higher intensity, and which levers collective efficacy, justice, social norms, and supportive communication convert distress into sustained collective and household actions. Findings will inform climate communication, mental health awareness engagement strategies, and fair transition policies that support citizens without pathologizing legitimate concern. Crucially, Vietnam's youthful demographics, rapid urbanization, and vibrant social media ecosystem could amplify both mobilization and overwhelm. Rural, climate-exposed provinces may experience distinct trajectories. Policy design requires clear guidance on psychological safe engagement that builds efficacy, fosters peer norms, and offers coping resources alongside opportunities for meaningful participation.
Yeah, great, Lincoln. Great reading.
Sorry,
It's-
there's some new words for me. I haven't
Yeah.
seen them before.
That one, jeopardy, is to put something in danger. It's me to say jeopardize.
Okay,
So
okay.
jeopardize, put something in danger. Heat waves jeopardize livelihoods means it can damage, has the potential to damage livelihoods and health. But it's good reading, Lincoln. I really enjoyed this paper too. This was the next one that I worked on. It's a really fascinating topic. What I have here is my word processing put up as pathologizing. The word is pathology, to study sickness, to find out why something went wrong, without pathologizing legitimate concern, turning something positive into negative and looking at it as it's like a sickness. So this paper, I do believe, is about sensitivity to the different regions in Vietnam and how the local communities handle climate change without increasing anxiety of climate change if the effects are too strong, flooding of farm areas and cities, or very strong typhoons hitting the Vietnamese coast. Many great things in this. Climate vulnerable economies definitely would be a seacoast community or rising water community in the Mekong Delta. The Hanoi coast, the river area, that's where they use riverine. Is the person who worked on this here today? I had some questions for that. It was in the group called, this is all part of a group. It's called the NCV group. And these are the three proposals. I don't know who the NCV were. So these are really fascinating papers. Most of this is pretty straightforward. What I would say about this word pathologizing, the BBC, the British Broadcast Corporation, was very reluctant to turn things like IZING, for example, hospitalized. They would say the president was hospitalized, and British would say, no, the president is in hospital. So again, for an international conference, now it's acceptable, but 20 to 30 years ago, even people like King Charles was very against using the American tendency to create a word like this. Hospitalize means you have to go to the hospital, hospitalize, right? And they say the British did not want to adopt that American style, but I watch a lot of British television and now they do say hospitalize. They changed. So it shows you how language and spelling changes from to be put in the hospital to hospitalize. But this is the first time I've seen pathologizing, and my word processing marked that as wrong. I didn't change it, but let's go to Google and do a spell check on that, everybody. So I'm going to do a share screen so you can see. And here is the Google. And here's what I would like to ask it. Define, I always use define pathologize. And it accepted it. It's Merriam-Webster. That's the people who wrote the American dictionary, Webster's. What does pathologize mean? What does pathologize mean? To unfairly or wrongly consider something or someone as a problem, especially a medical problem. There is a tendency to pathologize the victim of the suicide rather than consider what might be wrong with the system in which it took place. What are examples of pathologizing? Viewing sadness or depression. Pathologizing involves interpreting normal behaviors as symptoms of illness. To look at something normal and say that it's a sickness, leading to unnecessary labeling and stigma. You know what? I'm going to copy that entire thing out and put it next to our work for tonight, because that's just a really fine example that the person, there was absolutely no other word that could be used for this. It's done so skillfully, as I always say. So I'm going to, if this allows me, I'm going to paste this in. Yeah. And so I won't leave this in the student's corrected version, but that goes very well with here. Pathologizing, I'll put it in bold. So when we go back and look in the context that it was used, findings will inform climate communication, mental health awareness, engagement strategies, and fair transition policies that support citizens without pathologizing legitimate concern. It means they have legitimate concerns. The idea is to make these climate change mitigation emergency policies so they don't cause increased anxiety in communities affected by climate change. Really fascinating topic. That's the first time I've done a lot of climate change on how it affects communities that are at risk. That's the first time I've seen the pathologizing. So this is a really exciting paper. There it is again, pathologizing. And test a nonlinear anxiety action link. Again, these, I'm not too familiar with this because my statistical analysis for quantitative studies isn't very good. I'm a qualitative person. Although I can read data, it's difficult for me to create models. So I'll leave this for you, the L shape. Cross-lagged panel models. Again, these I'm not familiar with. Hui, are you familiar with cross-lagged panel models? Do you see that one? Cross-lagged panel models.
I think like cross is just like cross sectional, and lag is just one step behind, so it's not a same time like present, but it was the effect. Sometimes the effect on the financial market is it lag behind, so not happening now, but the next period it will showing the effect.
See,
Yeah,
I completely understand this second part, but then the cross-lag model, thank you for explaining that, Hui. That's, not something I'm real familiar with, so.
it's a bit technical.
Technical? I
Yes.
believe so. And Americans aren't very good at math, Hui. Okay, next one. Embed a light touch message experiment at wave 2, efficacy, boost, norm, salience, and coping resource arms to test conversion of distress into action. Very exciting, but I'm not quite sure of the methodology there. Map action quality emphasizes high impact collective behaviors over low impact consumer choices. This is very interesting. Assess persistence from wave 1 intentions to wave 2. I like this low impact consumer choices. Very, very cool. Data two-wave online panel again. Oh, now this I found interesting. Again, my software marked this as incorrect. Urbanicity. The tendency to be urban, that if urban is a factor, they chose to use urbanicity. I have heard it before, but I was surprised to come across it in this paper. Let's run that one by Google again, the urbanicity, and see precisely what Google has to say about urbanicity. So before we did pathologies, let's say define urbanicity. And it might just be a very easy but they used urbanicities as a plural. Again, a very good use of, oh no, look at it, gave me a Japanese. Now, why would it do that? I don't, my Google server just keeps refusing. What is urbanicity? Okay, let's try this. Well, that doesn't help us. Oh, hey, this becomes financial. Okay, when comparing urban markets to less populated suburbs or rural areas, you're using them, blah, blah, blah. But what is urbanicity? The definition of urbanicity varies depending on who you're talking to. In general, urbanicity refers to the degree to which a geographical area is considered urban. I'm going to copy all of this because I think it's really important. So I'm going to take all of this. You know what? I'm going to use this too because some of you are business people, and that has a nice application to business as well. So I'm going to go back to our original paper. And again, I'll put this in the paper for your usage, but I'll take it out for the students if I do any further editing. I definitely will take this out. But I'm going to paste this in here for you. Let me get someone to help read because I really want you to have a chance to read. You're wonderful students. Let me see. Tung Tran, would you like to read? The Kberi Tung Tran.
Yeah,
Hello, how are you?
fine, thank you.
Good. Are you having a good Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to read this bold print, all the definitions of urbanicity?
Yeah. Definition of urbanicity varies depending on who you are talking to. In general, urbanicity refers to the degrees to which a geographical area is considered urban. As seen the definition of urban, suburban, and rural also vary depending on who you are talking to and are often generalized across an entire city. It's not enough to use the term when you're trying to have a meaningful conversation about the distribution of population and retail activity. In the retail and professional real estate spaces, urbanicity is an available and consistent measure of the population density and retail activity of the market or trends areas around a store. It identifies where that geographical area falls along the urban-rural spectrum, and more importantly, it reflects the people who live, work, and spend there.
Yeah, this is really fascinating. So the question I would have for this urbanicity is the person who used it, did they use it in a sense of demographics for geography, or did they use it in the sense of real estate, retail? So if we go back to that urbanicity, trying to find it where it is, it marked it as a strange word in my spell, which is very strange. My Apple does not recognize urbanicity, and this is a very recent update to my software. So it says urbanicity, gender, and age. I would say the writer here means to the extent that it is where people live, work, and spend their money, but also if it is rural, suburban, or urban, the degree of urbanicity. So I would go back to this and I would correct it with degree of urbanicity. And I like that much better, degree of urbanicity. Now you could say degree of urban development, but this is very stylish how they used it. So I would leave it in there. As an editor, I wouldn't touch that. I would add degree of urbanicity. Okay, wonderful. Domain specific, anxiety, very fascinating. Willingness to join campaigns, self-reports, satellite-based heat metrics, flood risk. It's very detailed. Oh, this I'm gonna have to put a hyphen in here for de-identified coordinates only. Oh, now this is really fascinating too. Whoever wrote this paper, they did the Vietnamese and Kin minority language options. Tung Tran, is the pronunciation okay? Is it Kin or Keen for the minority group? Kin minority language options. Really fascinating. I don't know about the Kin, so this is new to me, the minority options. But again, this is being sensitive to different groups in Vietnam. Is it Kin Trung Tran, that Kin minority?
So it's pronounced as like king.
King. Oh, it is King.
King,
Okay,
king.
King. Yeah,
Yeah,
King.
but yeah, king is the like 99% of the Vietnamese people are considered themselves as king. King ethnic group, and the other one was a minority.
Did you say 99%?
Even more than that, like 99.9, I think.
Wow. And that's linguistically or
No, we are
ethnically.
talking about ethnicity.
Ethnically. Okay, I didn't know that. That's like the original King, which in Japan it's Yamato. A lot of the population say we are Yamato, the ancient people of Japan, Yamato. But researchers say there are also many Han Chinese, and this causes a lot of controversy. Southern Chinese. Okay. I'm not sure if I put that district level. Oh, this word. Okay, now this is what Dr. Duke described as one of those words. Does anyone remember the term she uses in her Australian university? It sounds like fossilized word or stone word, something like stone word. I always forget the term. Does anyone remember how she referred to those words that you must use in academic writing as an accepted word that you really can't change? Do you remember Hannah or Tai Han or Lincoln or Hui? Her stone words, boulder words. What was that word expression she used? It was about 6 weeks ago, so I'm sorry I forgot it. But she said these are the specific words you cannot change. So when I was helping the person write, edit this paper, I think I have to do the placebo test on pretends. And so what is that? That's a word that I really couldn't change, on pretends. Let's just do a definition check on pretends, how it is used in, what is it, social sciences? What do we, when we talk about pretend? So I'm going to do define pretends, but I think it's just going to give us placebo and pretend. So define placebos and in connection with the term pretends. Like, these are false readings? The police, no, I got placebo, 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 but nothing on pretends. Does anyone have any idea what that pretends means? So I left it in there because I didn't want to, change it, but it just seemed very new to me, fascinating, but I don't know what to do with pretends. Okay. If the person who wrote the paper is here, by all means, raise your
I
hand
think
and we'll try to
I
figure
think
this
what it means is pre-trend, right?
Yeah, pretend.
Not pretend, pre-trend. So before the trend happening.
Yeah. Oh, pretends. Oh my gosh. So it was maybe a bit of a misspelling mistake. So this is
Have a hyphen, yeah.
pre-trends. Oh my goodness, I would not have figured that out, Hui. You're pretty sure that that's what that is?
I'm not sure. This is not my writing, so I'm
Yeah.
just guessing.
Wow, this is a big mystery. We're gonna have to find this person. So placebo test on pretends. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thanks a lot. That makes much more sense now because I was really struggling with that. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Hui. Multi-group, I use the hyphen.
But
We've
can
seen
I
that.
ask you something? Like
Yes.
when you are say pretend, you are like to skipping the letter R in between. So you
Yeah, pretend. Well, I say pretends like, oh, he's pretending to be an important man. Pretends, right? Pretends.
I thought
I say
it's pronounced as pre-trend.
Oh,
No?
yeah, now it's pre-trends. It's difficult to say pre-trends, but the other word is pretend. Pretend. It's a French word, pretend. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because you remember the French, they always have those people who say they are king, and they say he's the great pretender. They say it's a French word, pretend, pretend. Okay. Again, a lot of hyphen words, geo-linked, policy testable, not much else here. Distressed referral, flood prone, ethnic minority language. Oh, here it is again, de-identified. I've seen that in both papers, de-identified data code. So I believe it's okay to do de-identified here, de-identified, break it up again. Again, it's a term I wasn't sure of, so I'm going to put the hyphen in anyway, okay? De-identified, because it's clearly distinct from unidentified. Something that is not identified is unidentified. UFO, unidentified flying object, right? So that's unidentified, but clearly they mean de-identified, means taking away the process of identifying, right? Very small difference there, actually. Okay, any questions? We did 2. Would you like to do one more? But if you don't want to do one more, I could ask you, anyone, you have a question on your paper, you could share it with us and we can work on it in class as a working model in the workshop sense of the class. So anything, in English you say anything is fair game, means I will accept anything. So I'll teach you that English expression is anything. You could use this if you go to a conference. Means I will accept any question. Anything is fair game. So you can ask me anything. And that anything is fair game means when you're hunting, you can shoot any animal you want for food. So that's where that word comes from. Anything is fair game. All right. So, all right, now I have just one more. If you don't mind, I can do one more of these from the Zalo files. And it is the last one here. And this one I wrote of the 3, I found this one really fascinating. What I liked about the style here, as soon as I share it, you can see, I'll take this down here and go to here. As a note on this, I said this one I really liked best because this had like a, I didn't even do that many corrections because it was written so well. There really aren't that many corrections to this. You can see my total lack of orange correction here. And the reason why I chose not to correct it is because this is really wonderfully written. It's a really nice, see, the topic is, the working title is Generative AI Use in Universities, Outcomes, Critical Thinking, Integrity, and Equity. The research question is, to what extent and under what usage patterns does generative AI influence undergraduates' learning outcomes while shaping self-regulated learning, critical thinking, and academic integrity across disciplines and access contexts? There's a list of key papers, which are fine. Interesting, the person put a question for each one, though. This is like almost like a literature review. Well, it quite literally is a literature review, but fascinating that they put in questions here, which are part of the title, Does ChatGPT Enhance Student Learning? A Systematic Review, Meta-analysis. So wonderful, just of the 3 key papers here as a small literature review. The motivation, this is where it really caught my attention, that this is really well written for a research proposal, a pitch proposal. It says, motivation: university students increasingly test conversational AI as a study companion for idea generation, code review, and formative feedback. Actually, that should be treat conversational AI. This shift challenges familiar assumptions about individual effort, originality, and the pedagogical role of feedback. Pedagogical meaning educational role of feedback. Banning AI is unrealistic and now this is where it gets hard. I can't even say it. Pedagogically unwise. Pedagogically. I know how to say some of these words in German. It's pädagogische, and it's just easier to say in German, pädagogische. But in English, pedagogically unwise. Uncritical adoption is equally risky. Institutions need evidence that distinguishes between the effects of having access to AI and the effects of different ways of using it. Specifically, we must learn whether guided prompting that requires an initial human attempt and justifications produces deeper learning and longer retention than unconstrained querying. And so I'll stop there, but it just, what impressed me about this is it has a conversational style to it. So it's a pitch proposal with the characteristics of a conversational style. And so again, I use this expression a lot. It's very skillful. I really enjoyed this. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Dr. Duke when she comes if this would be acceptable to do a pitch proposal that is not informal, not casual, but is confident enough to use a conversational style in the pitch proposal. Okay, and so it continues on. Then going to the idea, it's using bullets, which are always effective. Compare 3 conditions in authentic coursework. Use task families, measure multiple outcomes, capture process indicators, evaluate integrity. The data, again, using bulleted points, very straightforward, very clear to understand. And then the tools, quantitative analysis is stated right away, multi-levels in Python to estimate intention to treat and treatment on the treated, and so forth. And novelty. Yeah, novelty, no corrections here or in the so what, because again, it's a conversational style that's written very well. And then the contribution and other consolidations. So I really had nothing to add to this. It met the objective of our seminar. One of the major objectives is to soften AI responses. So this person, this researcher, did a wonderful job of really softening what could be machine language, but I really doubt this is machine language. This is just very advanced writing skills to make a really conversational, softened approach to a pitch proposal. And so I wrote, congratulations on this. This is excellent. Hoping the person is here tonight so I can offer you personal congratulations on this. It's excellent. Okay, let's see. We have a few minutes till Dr. Duke comes, so I just wanted to ask more of you. What is your research? So, Tung Tran, what is your research? I have to get to know you better. Since we're halfway through the course, I really have to make an effort to actually, what is your field, Tung Tran? You maybe told me, but I have forgotten.
I apply my picture research, but tomorrow I have sent to you to
Okay.
to correct me.
All right. I have time tomorrow in between the classes with the younger students, so I will definitely have it ready for you by tomorrow night.
Yeah.
It sounds exciting. Thank you too, because it gives me something to work on. Is it okay to show the class the results, Tung Tran?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always ask, is it confidential or can we share it as a class?
Pardon?
Is it okay to share your document with the class tomorrow night if I work on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I send my document to you.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
So tomorrow, can I open it during the sharing on Zoom? Is that okay to do? And then I can show all my corrections?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful, because some students say, it's confidential, don't do that, So I will do that, Mr. Dungtran. Okay. And it's an education paper? Education. Hannah, your field is education as well. And if it isn't, apologies for not getting it because I've asked you 3 times.
Yes, I've done in this field. However, I see the student in the class that did a lot of work related to their research, but I haven't. Yes, I'm trying to do make something.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Actually, I do not have any kinds of products up to now to share with you.
Oh.
It's just a part.
Remember, if you have a great idea and you write up a pitch proposal, always contact Dr. Duke and I'll take a look at it. Even if the course has ended, the pitch proposals are so quick. They're only 2 pages. They're easy for me to go through in about 15 to 20 minutes. So remember, it's sort of long-term service. You can always submit it.
Yes. Thank you for that encouragement. I'm trying.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see. Actually, I was going to tell you about my week. I re-entered the Japanese university system, but it's very difficult for me to work with the students because it's a very strange culture. The Vietnamese students want to communicate. They're fun. They want to engage. The Japanese students come from a system where they're told to be quiet and just listen to the professor or teacher the entire class. And this makes it impossible to teach them conversational English because they must engage and join the class. And I had just a very difficult week doing that. Unbelievably shy students, young ladies. I was hoping they're 19, 20 years old. They're just very slow communicators, very slow. Okay, let's see, who else do we have? I want to ask some more people on this one. Oh, Kate, you joined. Hello, Kate. Hi, Kate, how are you? Kate in the library. Kate Doan. Kate Doan. Kate, if you're there, if you can turn on your microphone. Are you there, Kate?
Hello.
Hello, Kate.
Yes, hello.
And what is your specialty, your field of research, Kate?
Sorry, I just joined because I have another class. So,
Oh, okay. All right. What is your field of research, though? Do you know?
my field is sustainable supply chain.
Okay, sustainable supply chains. Very cool.
Yeah, I have feedback from you for my
Oh,
pitch,
yeah, gave you feedback, right?
right?
Okay, wonderful. Because
Yeah, thank you.
when you said sustainable, then I remembered that was your area of
Yes.
specialty. All right. So how are you today, Kate?
A bit tired.
Yeah. On Saturdays, are you teaching or research?
I have a class
Hmm.
and also prepare for my classes next week.
Okay. So you are teaching in which city? Is it Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi?
Right. I'm living in Ho Chi Minh right now.
Oh, in New Zealand?
No, Ho Chi Minh.
Oh, Ho Chi
City.
Minh. Sorry, I thought you said New Zealand. Ho Chi Minh. Okay. How is the weather in Ho Chi Minh City? I'm curious.
The weather or
Yeah, the weather in Ho Chi Minh City.
it's rain a lot these days.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
Japan too.
it's because of the flood or climate change. I think.
Yeah, I think climate change. Japan has had 2 weeks of rain almost every day. So,
Yes.
and that's unusual for early October. Usually it's sunny and cool. So I don't know what's going on. Eastern China too, all along the seacoast, it's been rainy. So these
Yes.
are definite issues. All right, I'm going to contact Dr. Duke and get her ready for her presentation. And I forgot the important question I was going to ask her, everybody. There was this thing. Hello, Dr. Duke. The question I had for her
Are you happy?
Are you happy? She asked me this same question last year because there was a really bad student, and I said, "This boy is bad, Dr. Duke." He said, "Brendan, are you happy?" I said, "Of course I'm happy. It's just the boy's behavior is bad, so I'm upset." Dr. Duke, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, what question do I ask you? I forgot.
There was a boy who destroyed my lesson because he took control of the share screen. And
Oh, okay.
I said, Dr. Duke, can you send a serious message to this boy's mother? And you said, Brendan, are you happy? I said, of course I'm happy. It's just this boy's behavior is kind of bad. So I'm laughing because it's a funny memory when you said, are you happy? I had a question for you, but oh yes, what do you call the terms in the academic research and the publications where you should not change specific words because they're highly important?
You
They-
mean terminology or
Yeah, what was it?
consistence?
Yeah, what was it? Stone? You use stone or boulder or fixed or fossil? Something
No.
terminology. It was like stone terminology, like you cannot change it. It has to stay the same, even if you're worried about similarity scores.
Oh, I couldn't remember. I think that iconic terminologies. And then the reason because you know it is what we say is the
Standardized.
keywords. Yeah. Oh, okay. Iconic keywords, Brandon.
Keywords
Yeah.
that simply cannot be changed. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it's a keywords, it's not, you cannot change. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We can
By the
see
way,
Dr. Duck kitchen with a very expensive kitchen microwave, oven, and all things.
You know, I'm thinking I'm having my quick dinner. What you
And
call it?
this is why Melbourne, Australia is a great place to live. So this is,
It's 1 o'clock. It's 0. It's what
oh
just gone midnight.
my gosh. There was one other thing I had. I never did get to use this KFARM pitch thing. Can I just show it to you? I'm not sure if it was formatted correctly. It's coming up in a
In Excel.
yeah, Excel, so it's a little difficult for me to use.
That's that. Don't worry. Yeah.
All right. This was fascinating, but I really only understood maybe this first here, and then this was more technical, so I didn't quite understand that. Very interesting. Computer check proof. All
Because
right.
for this one, when she submit in the system, she actually cut and copy every cells to enter into the format in the system. So it's you know, yeah. I also complain. I say, why you do that?
Yeah,
Why you use the Excel? Because then it's too hard for us to to review.
this is hard to read. Oh, there was one other question. One of the pitch proposals, I really liked it, but I was going to ask your opinion on this one. And
Yeah.
it was, is it okay to write in a very, I want to say casual, but that's not correct. It's a very fluid. It doesn't, this one was really fascinating. Generative AI use in universities. I made almost no corrections because this entire paper looked like it had already been softened in the language it uses. The hedging was used really well here. So I didn't offer the student a lot of guidance on this because I thought they very skillfully did it. But I just wanted to show you, for example, maybe the first 5 sentences that I read already. University students increasingly treat conversational AI as a study companion for idea generation, code review, and formative feedback. This shift challenges familiar assumptions about individual effort, originality, and the pedagogical role of feedback. Banning AI is unrealistic and pedagogically unwise. Uncritical adoption is equally risky. So this almost has like a conversational tone to it. Is it okay to do that in the pitch proposals, Dr. Duke?
I don't think that is strong, but because it is a proposal, so maybe it's okay.
Okay.
You know, like the pitch is different with the journal. Yeah.
Oh, it's
So
depending on who your audience is for the pitch.
yeah. So
Important point.
yes. So I'm guessing because the pitch is more like in the form of like a proposal or an outline before the real paper. Right. So I guess that, a little bit casual is acceptable. Yeah. As long as it's not like in like speaking language. Yeah.
Yeah. So I, gave the person some praise by saying, this is quite good. This is fascinating for me. Because the other pitch proposals were in abbreviated form, and the only abbreviated form I see here is the use of bullets towards the second part of the pitch. So
yeah. So the reason I say it's okay because actually, in the pitch we allowed to use the bullet points.
Okay,
And
bullet points. Okay.
for bullet points, that is
In the pitch. All right. So they're more flexible than I previously thought. Okay, everybody, I'm going to sign off because I have to get ready for tomorrow's debate class. They're sending in their homework late. So it's 9 o'clock in Vietnam. So on a Saturday night, our good students, Dr. Duke, are sending in their debate responses, and they're using their Hey Gen well. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Hui, thank you. I didn't know Japan has its first female prime minister. I did not know this. I didn't pay attention to the news, Hui. I was too busy paying attention to American news.
You
So
also
thanks.
enjoy teaching, right? So you are not pay attention to the like
Yeah, I'm not on
news.
the news. Yeah, there's crazy things happening in America, Hui. So I'll have to take a look at that. All right, thanks everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed tonight's thing. I really enjoyed going through those papers. Tung Tran, I'll definitely work on your stuff tomorrow and we can share it with the class. Hui and Hana, thank you for your help. Kate Dewan, good to see you again. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, Brandon.
Thanks.
Mình